Okay, we're live. Hi, this is William Ramsey. Welcome to William Ramsey Investigates. On today's show, I have a very special guest, a returning guest. His name is Chris Taylor. We've spoken many times in the past. I've been on his show, Don't Let Them Burn. We've talked about present-day occultism. He's been on my show, William Ramsey Investigates. We've talked about a number of stuff. We've talked about the Great Reset and some of his other material. He does excellent artwork and has a lot of research. But today we're going to talk about a documentary that's just come out. The website is Get a Life Ministries, but the title of the documentary, very timely, is The Great COVID Deception, and it's by Pastor Billy Crone. And Chris Taylor's done all the artwork, so you can check out his artwork. I highly recommend checking that out. But again, his site is Don't Let Them Burn. And there's no way I'm going to keep this on YouTube, so I'm streaming on YouTube right now, but I'm about to cancel that. And for people who listen to me on YouTube, YouTube does not have all my shows. It has only about 75% to 66 to 75% of my shows, because I do other interviews with other people that I post on my podcast. So if you want to see all of my interviews, all of the subject matter, things that isn't censored or is not censored by YouTube, go to William Ramsey Investigates. And you can also hear this live on Twitter or Facebook. So you can go to Twitter or Facebook and type in William Ramsey Investigates. I think my handle on Twitter is William Ramsey IN, and this will be live there. It will stay live. You should be able to make comments on Facebook if you'd like, but this is definitely not YouTube friendly. And I've already gotten one strike. They said me talking about elite. This is YouTube. This is what a trash corporation Google and YouTube is that I investigated elite pedophilia, and they said that was bullying and harassment. So they are trash. I'm sorry. I try to be nice to people. YouTube's garbage. I like their technology, but the people who run the company are scum. Yeah. So I'm taking myself off of YouTube right now. So listen to all my stuff on William Ramsey Investigates. All right, let me cancel this. Remove. Delete. Okay. So again, Chris Taylor, The Great COVID Deception, so important. Just the title itself. I've done a lot of research into COVID myself, and there's a lot of research. Billy Crone's done a lot. You've got a lot of references to other informational videos on the Great COVID Deception, which is very accurate. It really is a great deception. Really this is a biblical event. So Chris Taylor, Don't Let Them Burn. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for agreeing.
Thanks for having me again. Glad to be here.
Man. Yeah, it's great to see you again. A brother in Christ and a really great artist as well. So people go check out his stuff on YouTube. He's got a bunch of different sections of materials on a variety of different subjects. So you can go see some of the interviews I've done with him as well.
Oh yeah,
there. But it's been a while. It seems like maybe a year or something that we've talked last. Can you kind of talk about your work? I know you're friends with Billy Crone, Pastor Billy Crone, somebody who I want to interview because I've seen some of his work on Mormonism. I really want to get more detail about that. But maybe you can talk about the genesis of this new documentary series that's available on Get a Life Ministries titled The Great COVID Deception.
Right. When the whole pandemic broke out, there wasn't really a plan to do a documentary, but all of this information just kept coming out, and we had to shut down our church for a couple weeks, and then we did the civil disobedience thing and started back up. And one of the first sermons, not the first, but one of the first, was about the COVID deception. And so he was trying to educate the audience on what's really going on, because, all of us don't have the same streams of information. So that was the first one in 2020, then another one in 2021, and then another, and then so it became a documentary issue. And the information doesn't stop flowing, so we had to cut it off somewhere. And so this became a project that many people gravitated towards as some of them were posted on YouTube, but after that we had to post them on Rumble. And before that, they were posted on the website. But so many people gravitated towards the website, it started slowing down the website and crashing it. So that's why he had to put out a DVD, and I'm pretty sure there are other issues regarding that. But the point is, people are pretty much hungry for the information because they're being lied by the media. They don't want to go to certain sources because they might be getting lied to by them too. Meaning, like, say, for instance, real conspiracy theory sites that they say stuff like certain stars or whatnot are getting executed in Guantanamo Bay. Crazy stuff like that, right? So this study is very important for those that don't know how to pretty much wade through the waters of information. And we everybody jumped from we were getting all censored from Facebook, Twitter, whatever. We're little people compared to others that were censored, including the president of the United States. So
Right.
we jumped to Telegram. I was on Facebook's WhatsApp. I jumped immediately to Telegram, and that's where a lot of information was being funneled, including Rumble as well. So that's kind of like how everything came together. A lot of information. I mean, I can't even describe to you how much came from Telegram. People were
Interesting. So Telegram is a good site for people. Do you recall what were your major fonts of information on Telegram? What channels?
a lot of the doctor channels. I follow one person, Tori says. People would have to, make up their mind on what they think about her. And there are a few others, Gateway Pundit, the conservative news sources that were letting, and like I said, let's go to the doctors that were getting censored. They jumped to Telegram, releasing the information, doing interviews on different conservative channels. And so this whole momentum started building that, yes, this whole thing is just not that the virus doesn't exist, but the narrative is complete garbage.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very despicable from the beginning, really. And even the foundation of where this this virus, which is, there's just so many problems with the stories that they told. How many people were going to die? The solution. I mean, goes all the way back, right from the very beginning. I think Project Veritas said that they knew that hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, which I took 2 rounds of ivermectin
Mhm.
5 days in a row, and another 5 days when I got sick.
Right.
No side effects from that.
Yeah.
They said that those were effective against this COVID-19, but that was all suppressed, right?
Right. Because
Yeah.
if you're going to bring out a vaccine, there has to be nothing that can I forgot the technical term, but if you have a viable alternative, then what's the point of bringing out the vaccine? And so they have to use the narrative to get rid of the viable alternative, which is hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, and others, right? Even when President Trump, he talked about a technology using light, and that technology is real. And they called it conspiracy, fake, all this other stuff. When he talked about MSM, which is chlorine dioxide, they said that he was telling people to drink bleach. That's also another lie.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
MSM is called the universal antidote. They even use it at NASA, I believe. So yeah, you can use it to clean things, but there are medicinal effects. I mean, people have used it to lessen the side effects of herpes and other disease. They've healed, in a sense, diabetic ulcers with this stuff.
Wow.
And it does work on flus. So they don't want their narrative destroyed, so they demonize everything else.
Right away. So they went right after it, like it was almost like a military war propaganda. So they didn't let anything away from getting to this vaccine get in their way from the beginning. Right?
Absolutely. So I mean, I have my conspiratorial mind and my rational mind. And from the beginning, let's just say 2 weeks. I talked about this on the show before. Within 2 weeks of everything breaking out, I watched, that website they had up by Johns Hopkins University. I didn't realize. I didn't realize it first. So I said, okay, where did they get these numbers from? There's no test. There's no way to find out if anyone has it. How are they getting these numbers? And I'm like, okay, let's see who's running this website. I saw John Hopkins. Oh, okay. now I'm going to put my conspiracy hat on, and we know that they're connected to the WHO, to the CDC, to the United Nations, and others, and World Economic Forum. So I said, if these are all connected, there has to be some sort of play going on right now. And that's when I was like, no, I'm not falling for this anymore.
It's incredible. So you have this kind of pyramid of power puppeteering all these corporate entities, fixing numbers, right? So
Mhm.
like John Hobson's fix, you don't know the real number of deaths.
Mhm.
A lot of it's just incredibly fake, and this is from the very beginning. And I mean, these vaccines came out of nowhere. I don't know where they were produced, but this warp drive or whatever, like some people said that like they had to have pre-planned the vaccine distribution prior to the pandemic to effectively get them out there right at the beginning of 21. Have you ever heard
Right.
that? Yeah.
Yes. In fact, okay, remember when I brought up the SPARS pandemic
Mhm.
document that I had? I, at the time, believed that's a future plan. No, it was supposed to come out in 2025 to 2028. That was actually the main plan. They backed up and said, okay, October, not 2019, they had the Event 201 where they were game planning and everything. And of course, the media said, no, this is not what's going on, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, um, Patrick Wood, who wrote Technocracy Rising, talked about a vaccine that was going to come out that was going to be globally mandated. I was driving to California to a conference, and I was listening to his program. This is 2019,
Wow.
right?
Right.
Same month as the Event 201. And he said it's going to
Wow.
be globally mandated. Would you take a vaccine that would change your DNA? I was like, wow, something's going on here. So I called my pastor and said, hey, something's going on. I don't know what it's going to be, but something's coming. And we just left it at that. So anyway, I looked recently, like a month ago, if that same podcast is up. It's been scrubbed from YouTube now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been scrubbed from iTunes and a couple
Wow.
other platforms. You can still find it, but you have to do your due diligence.
Wow. Maybe if you can find it, if you have it or can find a thing, send it to me. I'll put it in this show's
Oh,
links.
for sure.
And because I don't know if people know this, but Patrick Wood is involved with this kind of new global trial. So he is giving testimony in these lawsuits that are started by Reiner Fulmish, I believe is his name. Do you know? Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not familiar with the name,
Okay.
but I know he's been doing a lot of conferences within the scope of 2019, 2020 with 5G and other stuff going on with the United Nations and their plans.
This guy was way ahead of the curve. So that's what you're saying, Patrick
Yes.
Wood. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. And I refer to that a lot to people, and they're surprised. Oh, so the point, because you asked a question there, do I believe that it was pre-planned? Were they making these? There's a ton of evidence. I don't have it in front of me. That yes, all the way back to 2016, even further back to I believe 2009, 2006. You remember in 2020, we had all this information coming out about the NIH and Dr. Fauci and all this stuff. We were demonized and said we're conspiracy theorists, right? But now the mainstream media is saying, yeah, that's all true. And, you see Fauci lying in front of Congress and all this stuff. Everything we said in 2020 is now confirmed. There's also a documentary, and I forget the name, sorry, from 1999, 1998, somewhere around there. And, the person putting out the documentary said, listen, by the year 2000, they're going to bring out a vaccine and it's going to be aimed towards your children. And the guy had the vials that they would use at the time. They had it on camera. I have the documentary here. But the point is, was it from the 90s or from 2006, 9, whatever? That people need to search this out because anything they do, they always pre-plan. And we have evidence of how it came out, Wuhan, but there's other evidence. It might be somewhere else. It's a lot of digging to do. People have to really do their digging. But the thing is, other people have done the digging for you, and the information is out there.
The information's definitely out there. And if you're watching this on Facebook and Twitter, highly recommend this book that goes back and gets a lot of that past information. The predicate title is COVID-19 and the Global Predators. We Are the Prey. Bragan. It has McCullough and Zev Zelenko, two guys who I've followed. But I could not recommend this book enough.
Absolutely. I'm trying to find that link for you for the podcast. But so back then, and I was talking to my daughter and everything, and then I started seeing the propaganda come out from China. I believed it at first, because I'm like, whoa, this guy just rolls up and dies on the camera here. I'm like, this thing must be super serious, right? And so by the time it hits, I'm thinking of all these footage I saw. I didn't question it at the time. And okay, so like I said, 2 weeks pass, and no bodies on the floor outside. People are still driving around like it's nothing. I mean, the streets were kind of barren. I used to have to drive my daughter to work, so the highways were barren. But I went walking and everything. I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. We have a lot of freedom, and no one's dying. And so that also woke me up to, this is not a pandemic. This is a total, I don't know what to call it, but fraud, right? A farce, except that the virus is real. So how do they know that people are getting sick? Because we are in flu season. And if you remember, the statistic that came out by the end of 2020, the flu disappeared. The flu totally disappeared. And so that tells me that people that were claiming they had COVID had the flu or pneumonia or something close to that. Especially, that's what the evidence says. And 90%, I have the statistics here, 90% of the tests are invalid. The PCR tests and the tests that come from China that you stick up your nose and all that stuff, they're 90% invalid. And you have a 99.998 or 9998 survival rate. So what were people catching? Only a doctor would know if they're telling the truth. We saw that also they were getting 70 million down to 50 million for every positive COVID test, or confirmed COVID case, I should say. Confirmed COVID case. They were getting buku money. And I've seen people that have gone in for something else, and they're trying to convince people that I know firsthand that they have COVID.
Wow, it's incredible. So the incentive structure in the back end of these medical facilities was to prove COVID, but they were also getting and still getting incentives to use remdesivir, put people on breathing apparatuses. Like, there's all kinds of perverse financial incentives to have designations done, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Sorry. Side note. Something that I hardly hear people talk about are what happened with the lockdowns, not just in America. More people died from the lockdowns than COVID, especially in those third world countries. And then within our states here, suicide went through the roof. Molestations went to the roof, child molestations. Domestic violence went through the roof. And people fearing to have kids, and a lot of businesses, including minority businesses, went and they will not return because these people want to get rid of the middle class.
Right. And the lower class. That's the people who won the financial battle were all the rich. During
the wealth transfer.
It's a huge wealth. Yeah.
It was in the trillions.
Trillions. Huge wealth transfer. Right. They won. Bad guys won.
Yeah. And going to present day, this doesn't have to do with COVID per se, but I'm talking about another wealth transfer where we have this Ukraine issue, and Biden is sending billions of dollars over there to the same people that helped this whole COVID issue to become hyper realistic. You know, same people, the
Right?
George
Surprise,
Soros, all these
surprise.
people. This is
I wonder
crazy.
what the kickbacks are on that. We have to get Hunter Biden's new laptop to see what the kickbacks are on that money.
All right. I hope he learned his lesson.
Dude, it is so corrupt. It's so sick what they did. Like they lie, and the Great Deception is a perfect title because it's the lies, but the amount of propaganda directed against the American people, it's worse than 9/11. I mean,
Yes,
it was just off the charts.
yes, and we still can't. Okay, so with the vaccine adverse effects, and you have VAERS website and a couple, even if we were to take VAERS and say, okay, this is all true, and this is the total amount of people that have had vaccine adverse effects, it still doesn't cover the people that are not reporting it, people that have died in other countries from it. I again, firsthand or secondhand, a family member of mine knows one person, and that they took it, and now they have ulcers, lesions in the anal area and also in the vaginal area. I've heard secondhand from other people I know of people that took it and died, or took it and are now incapacitated. The numbers are through the roof, and I can't remember the number right now, how much it would take for them to stop it, but it's a tiny number for them to stop putting this out to the public. So with that, we also have to realize that the pharmaceutical companies were going belly up. They were losing billions and billions and billions of dollars. And so this whole thing was a bailout for them, because now they have billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? Whoever's listening, go do your research on that. They were going belly up. They were getting lawsuits and all sorts of stuff. People are using alternatives to their opiates, and so they couldn't do anything about that. And they tried using the what's the one with the drugs?
Pfizer,
No,
the company.
the law enforcement.
Oh, the FDA
Right.
or the
FBI
NIH,
and the ones that come to your door if you're.
CDC. Oh, FBI. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, DEA.
DEA, yeah, Drug Enforcement Agency.
Yes,
That sounds right.
yes.
Yeah.
They were using the drug enforcement agency to try to stop people from taking alternative natural resources to get off of pain pills. And it's a long road to go down with that. But what
It's
I'm trying
very important because it's the background, the predicate of everything that led up to this whole fake pandemic, right?
yeah, yeah.
Because
So
they had to scare the living daylights everybody. And it goes back to Fauci, who scared the living daylights about people with AIDS and said it was airborne, which is a lie.
right,
And it was
yeah,
the same thing
right,
as this lie. I don't know how they let,
exactly,
and that's the Robert F. Kennedy book, right? He really exposed Fauci as a fraud,
yeah.
a
And
monster. He's a monster. Yeah.
speaking of that, I said to myself and to my friends, I said, listen, I understand it's sort of airborne, but it's not airborne like they're playing it. I mean, we would all be very sick if it was spreading so fast, rapidly airborne. And so that's why you see people driving in their car with one mask, two
Still
masks, mask on the AC vent, walking in 100-degree weather outside with a mask on. I'm like, wow.
crazy. Yeah. Any virus dies in sunlight. It just doesn't last. So
Yeah.
there's tons of problems. And they one of the things Peter McCullough said is they never emphatically stated that you cannot transmit if you're not sick. So you have to be sick to be transmissive, and they just never really emphasize that. You can
Mhm.
tell this whole thing is a scam because they're not giving out cards to people who had COVID. They're giving
Mhm.
passports to people with a vaccine. But if they really wanted herd immunity, they would just give you a card and say, "Oh, you had it." Like I could prove I had something. Like I have a COVID test that was positive. Granted, I don't know whether it's even real or not, but like
Yeah.
I could take that in and get a pass, and then I would be done. I wouldn't need to take a vaccine, which I haven't taken a vaccine. It's not really a vaccine; it's
Yeah, right.
actually
Gene therapy.
therapy. But
Yeah.
so they've lied about everything. It's really
Yeah.
sick.
It it
It's a
it,
deception.
it makes me cringe every time because where I live, they've taken the mandate away. Of course, because they want their votes. I keep telling people they are not as powerful as you think they are. They're only seen powerful because they're using fear, right? So all of a sudden, the mandates have been lifted. Don't have to wear a mask. I thought this thing was everywhere and about to get you, right?
Right.
So all of
About
a
to
sudden
die.
it's not there. I mean,
Right.
come on, man. I think the critical thinking skills have been depleted in our nation. Not all, but there's a lot of people. You can tell who they are. You know, they can't think about anything rationally, right? Um, then we have the children that are being exposed to this gene therapy, and I wish I remember the name of the doctor, but it was exposed pretty much that they need to get it to the children so they can keep it going. It opens up a window of legality. Have you heard that?
Yes, I have.
Right. So why would any normal, rational parent expose their children to this when they're not even? I mean, the amount of kids that supposedly died from COVID are infinitesimal to the amount of adults that supposedly died of it. So how
Right.
do we?
And they even there's a woman named Jessica Rose, and
Hmm.
they took the 318 kids that supposedly died of COVID, and they walked it all back. They walked back like 300 of those cases. They were kids that were about to die from other morbidities.
Yeah.
So even the stats on the child risk is nothing. So they're coming after the kids. Wait till these people find out that they're sterile. That's really going to drive people crazy.
Yes.
Like, oh, why can't I have kids? Why
Oh,
can't I have kids? Because all the spike proteins
yes.
aggregate in the testes in your ovaries.
I can't
Wait till
wait.
that happens.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to get to more into the tech in a minute. I can't wait to get into that. Um, but okay, so you have these parents open up their children for one deception, one child abuse, and more, right? And what this reminds me of is the same parents that are open up their kids to drag queen story hour, pedophiles, and all sorts of crazy stuff. What's the one called where they use puberty blockers? It's the same mentality. Trust everything the government, the medical industry says, and also help to facilitate insanity.
Right.
I mean, I cringe every time I hear about a child going through all this craziness.
That's crazy. Chris, wait till they do the statistics on who was vaccine hesitant and who got the triple shots and
Oh,
put them in a sociological thing and cut
mhm,
across the classes. People will just be like, wow. So all
mm,
these rich people and the wealthy knew not to take the shots. The
mhm,
poor people and the suckers who believe in all the other Luciferian got their Luciferianism, got
uh-huh,
their triple shots, and the
mhm,
Christians and the God fearing people are like, "There's something going on here. This
yeah,
is something. Somebody's trying to put something together." Because at least the Bible tells you that bad things are going to happen. Like you got to be on the lookout, keep your lamp lit.
right.
So I
Oh,
never took the shots.
yeah, me neither. That's a good point though, because everybody's the Bible didn't tell us to look for the Antichrist, right? It told us to look for Jesus Christ. But at the same time, here, let's just say for some reason we would be in the time of the Antichrist, right? And I don't believe for the audience, I don't believe that we're going to go through the 7 year tribulation. That's a whole other subject, but that's my preface. Christians, if that were to happen, we would be the first ones to call it out. The first ones. What are we doing with all of this? We're calling out the elite. We're calling out the lies and everything else. If the Antichrist was on the scene, we would be the one to take him down. You see what I'm saying? There would be no, because when he comes on the scene, lies are going to permeate the planet, especially since people are going to love him. Sorry, that's my telegram. People are going to love him, and we're calling out everything. if you look at it, I'm not sure how much of this you watch, but if you look at it, most of the people fighting for our freedoms via podcast and YouTube and um, alternative news sources, most of them are Christians. Not all, most. I don't know if you noticed that.
I feel like they're like spiritually attuned, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Now there are some others that are not, Christian. There are other influences, but the ones that I've seen the most are definitely Christians. So the whole point is that we are the salt and light. We are able to push back through the Holy Spirit on all this evil to get out the word to people that look, we're waving the banner. This is all false. And let me tell you, I'm pretty sure you've talked to some of your family members or whatnot. When
no doubt.
Patrick Wood, he came out with a podcast, The Great Mass Takeoff, something like that. And I said, wow, man, this is really good. And he was talking to another doctor. And I passed it around to everybody, including family members. And some family members told me, don't send this to me. Our free speech is not being, destroyed. And I don't want to hear nothing like this because I know people that have died from COVID. I never said anybody didn't die from COVID. I didn't even say that. Basically, they were telling me to shut up. And another family said, well, the science on the mask isn't exact. Well, if that's so, why was it that the masks were useless in the Spanish flu in 1918,
Right.
where 50 million people died? They're useless. And most people back then died from pneumonia, right? It really, it's a little scary to see when people don't want to hear rational explanations,
But
especially being
they're all getting their messaging from the mass media, right? That's if you don't listen to the mass media, you get a different kind of smorgasbord of data and facts that you have to kind of test for yourself. Whereas the mass media, it's certainty. This is the choice.
yes.
I mean, what's really sick is a lot of those guys are all part of the medical industrial complex. So
Yeah.
like, there are guys, Fauci. It's not just Fauci.
Right.
Walensky, there was a guy, I can't remember, was it Epstein or Shapiro? He was working, he was in the board of directors for Pfizer, and he's telling you medical advice. It's so sick. And do you know that, like, I don't know what it's on. I think Fox News and CNN, do you know what the majority of their advertising is? And where they get their money from?
Oh, from Pfizer.
Pharmaceutical industry and Pfizer.
Yeah.
So 70%, it's all pharmaceuticals. It's just a complete scam.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can continue to watch that when you're just being bombarded with pharmaceutical propaganda. That's all lies.
Yeah.
Those things will kill you faster than any disease you have. That's the real sick thing, is like you can probably make, like you said earlier, natural decisions to make health. And these pills are
the truth is often rejected when the lies are permeating the whole environment. The lies goes around faster while the truth is constantly rejected, right? You talked about the advertisement, the television. Who are the sources? I always love going back to the source. Where did this thing start? Why are so many entities controlled? And when you go up the pyramid of the entertainment industry, you see BlackRock and one other company.
It's BlackRock and another one, right? It's Vanguard, is that right?
Vanguard and BlackRock, absolutely. So if people do that sort of research, it'll start clicking a little bit here. They don't control everything, but they control a majority of it. And so all of these interconnected agencies and businesses and corporations, they work together, maybe not even for the same goal, but definitely for that money. Follow the money. It's just like one other side note. When it comes to all of this wokeness and Marxist propaganda, the biggest culprits are the corporations. They're the ones now, Stand by Ukraine and Black Lives Matter, and they're the same ones. Because all of a sudden, COVID is not the big news because that narrative was just getting destroyed. It's still there. Don't make no doubt, it's still there because now they're talking about the stealth variant. How can you see it if it's stealth? But anyway,
that's a total mind control assault too. Like they're just trying to scare the suckers. There's no question about it.
Yeah. So now everything is Russia and Ukraine, and that's another story. But we're on COVID right now, so go ahead.
But it is a great deception. I mean, it's really incredible what they've pulled off. I mean, but I think you mentioning BlackRock and Vanguard is vitally important. A lot of people don't know that. You can go to Yahoo, you can go to these financial things and look at corporate ownership. And that corporate ownership, there will be a big slug that's Vanguard or BlackRock. And BlackRock, the way the corporate structure of BlackRock is set up is that it's a holding company and you don't know who the investors are.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's total secrecy. There's no transparency of who's owning these major corporations, and Pfizer is one of those.
Yes.
And the rumor is those are all the old mainline families.
Yeah.
All the boogeymen we talk about, the nasty boogeymen. Yeah.
Well, check this out. I'm pretty sure you came across this as well. Moderna is partly owned by DOJ.
Wow.
Our country. So they have a stake to push this thing. Wow. It's just amazing when you get all the little information here and there, and it took 2 years for a lot of it to come out. But that's what's going on. I'm not too sure. I don't have too much info on AstraZeneca, but then we had J&J, which was causing blood clots, and then they took it off, and then they brought it back, and then other issues came out, and I'm not even sure if it's still on the market, but that was a big issue. A lot of people, there are tons of videos, on Telegram through certain channels, like say, for instance, COVID Truth Network, but that's not the one I'm looking for. COVID adverse effects, something like that. Give me 1 second. I'm scrolling in here.
There's one on Twitter that I followed, adverse effects. Sorry, go ahead.
COVID vaccine victims chat. Check that out. You're going to see videos that some of them you probably won't be able to handle of these effects that I'm not talking about a coin being attached to your arm or something like that. I'm talking about real lesions and weird stuff in the blood. It's that's not all that they put in there, but there are a lot of videos in there you want to check out. You have Children Health Defense. There's another one has to do with children.
I think Kennedy is associated with the Children's Health Defense or something like that. He's the one who sued some other pharmaceutical company in the past, so he was the right guy to write that book about Fauci.
Oh yeah,
so you can see this. Let me get that back up.
And people really need to read that.
Yeah, the real Anthony Fauci. Fauci is a monster. Why isn't he in jail? Why hasn't he been arrested?
Because he's a bureaucrat and he's like totally entrenched into the whole system. They're protecting him in ways that we can't even see. You know, I mean, hopefully something happens where he does he's held accountable. You know, another one is called World Council for Health. World Council for Health.
World Council for Health. Okay.
And within World Council for Health, there are a few foreign doctors that want to bring about Nuremberg 2.0. And they've done a drill on the court case. I passed it around, but it wasn't a real court. You know, it was just a mock trial. Okay. So they're working on that. So maybe through that, if not other means, we might get some accountability to all of this fraud. And many doctors have been, their license have been taken away. They've been censored. Some of the experts are Dr. Carrie Madej, Dr. Gert Vanden Bosch, of course, Peter McCullough, Robert Malone, Jane Ruby, Michael Yadon, Christine Northrup, Jancy Lindsay, Richard Orso, Jessica Rose, and plenty of others. I mean, the videos that they're letting out in group sessions tells you so much. It's thousands of hours of listening and hearing what they have to say, and not all of them are. Let's say, I don't think any of them are really anti-vax, if you want to put
Good
that.
point. Good point. Yeah.
And some of them have even taken the vaccine.
I think Malone took the vax. I think he had a negative reaction too.
Yeah, Malone and McCullough took it. Yeah, McCullough took it. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not this anti-vax movement. It's anti-lies.
Right.
Right? Now,
well, this is my favorite. Sorry to interrupt, but this screenshot here, if people are watching, you can see Fauci and Walensky, and the White House gives this thing: if you don't take the vaccine, prepared to die. It couldn't be more obvious propaganda that they're putting in. It's the fear of death. That's really the brutal propaganda that's coming. And this is definitely from the White House. I like the 5G on there. It says, quote, for the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your families, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm. Wow.
Yeah. Bill Bigtree is actually bringing up a lawsuit against the U.S. government over mask mandates. Not sure if he'll win, but the lawsuit is going forward. Okay. So let's talk about one other issue. Okay. The fact that all of these athletes are dying, and not like a month after each other. They're dying, some of them in the same month, on the field. What is it called? Myocarditis?
Myocarditis, yeah.
Myocarditis. People's hearts are just giving out. These are strong athletes, healthy, dead. Looking at that too, audience.
There's videos on BitChute of just hundreds of them dropping. Not 3, hundreds, and stories globally. So the corporate media is providing you lousy information while keeping the other information out, right? So it's omission and commission. But there's stories in the global media, different languages. So-and-so died. Cyclist dead. Track dead. Can't compete anymore. Rafael Nadal, heart problems, like apex athletes.
Yeah.
So it's a shame. These people are killing people.
Yeah.
And murdering people. Yeah. Knowingly murdering people. Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Brian Ardis, pretty much in New York State, 26.9% of Medicare-age patients who received Fauci's 5-day remdesivir protocol died.
I know 2 friends that I have online whose family members have died. One is Alex Stein's mom died. They gave her remdesivir. I don't think he was even approved. She was dead in 5 days, organ failure. And then it was, what's his name? It'll come to me. Another friend who I've interviewed on a variety of subjects. His brother died. He was given remdesivir.
Crazy, man.
It's a medical. It's a medical slaughter. I don't know what to,
Yeah.
And they're being incentivized. So I think they're getting financial incentives to give remdesivir, right?
Yeah, I believe so too. But then the mask is coming off on some of the way the propaganda was put together. Like this was from the Blaze, exclusive. The federal government paid hundreds of media companies to advertise the COVID-19 vaccines. Right. Well, major from there's a bunch of major news, even Fox that people trust so much, right? And I believe, let me see here.
And I've even seen these guys forays into alternative media. They're trying to get into the alternative media too.
Yes, they are. Yes, be very careful. I mean, I know Newsmax carries a lot of stuff, but I had to stop watching when they did certain things with coming to the pandemic and the elections. I was like, no, I'm not trusting you. I'm gone, man.
Even DuckDuckGo was supposedly an alternative. They started thinking. The guy's name is Donald Jeffries. You can hear a tragic story about his brother, who was in the prime of health, took care of himself, dropped dead in the hospital. So you got to be careful. You go to a hospital, you probably can end up more sick than keeping yourself out of it.
Yeah, that's one of the worst places to be. I've seen it firsthand. Okay, we've lost some very close people. They were taken to the hospital. They never came out. I can't go into detail for some privacy issues, but they went in and never came out. And it
I
was
could. I'll tell you my hospital story that you won't even go in. I shouldn't even have gone into the hospital. I
yeah,
felt like they turned me upside down and shook all the change out of my pockets. Like
wow.
I literally pulled the I pulled the syringes out and walked out. I signed a document. I said, "Get me the f out of here. What are you guys doing? This
Yeah,
isn't even helping me." That's a whole different. I'll tell you that offline.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
haven't been to a hospital, and you should see the bill they sent me. I was like, I almost had a
oh,
worse sick reaction from the bill than being sick.
trust me. I'll tell you this one. I
Okay.
went in. It was a local hospital. Won't call the name, but there was no patients in there. It was an emergency room, no patients. So because I didn't have COVID, I had something else that was going on with me. They couldn't figure what it was. So anyway, they bring me in. I signed whatever papers I needed to sign, and they gave me an EKG, COVID test, and whatever else. Right? The doctor, till this day, that came to the door to ask me questions, till this day, hasn't touched me. And they misdiagnosed me saying it was abdominal pains. It wasn't. They put me as COVID positive.
Wow.
And then the bill, just the bill wasn't even all calculated. $4,000.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure it went over that.
That's
Right?
so
The
crazy.
doctor didn't even touch me. And they wanted me so COVID positive that they bought in another test. Oh, that means you probably got $100,000 or something, you know?
Right. Right.
So I've been there, but there's one thing
It's
I knew in
super
my mind.
corrupt, dude. Super corrupt. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew in my mind I'm not staying overnight. That's for sure. And so I left. The rest of it, I'll say another offline.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you my story. It was amazing. I once set foot in the hospital again. This was 7 years ago.
what?
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. I haven't
Yeah,
been to a hospital in 7 years, so I
yeah,
just try to stay informed and ahead of stuff and
yeah,
self treat. So when I thought I got COVID or when I was sick, I immediately got ivermectin and just did 2 rounds. I took, just for people listening, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc 3 times a day, large doses, as large as I could take, with a glass of green tea three
yeah,
times a day. I
yeah,
don't have long COVID. I had a cough for about 2 weeks. I don't know what it was. It
yeah.
tested COVID positive on the test, but
Mm,
I'm still here. So I didn't get bilked from, I didn't end up on a ventilator or anything like that. I'm 53, but
yeah,
I was not going into the hospital. I don't trust the doctors. And I've talked to doctors offline and other things where I just ask them casual questions. I asked this one guy, what do you think the percentage of doctors who are in the profession are really there to help people? And what's the percentage of there who thought it was a good career, they could make a lot of money? And he said 50-50.
wow.
So
That's
half the people there just to make cash, man. They know it's a good paying job. They can charge people a lot of money. They're just hustlers.
yeah,
It's you. So when I go to the doctor after somebody told that, I just go, which side of the coin is this? Is this person really there to help me, or is he just trying to pay his boat payment?
right, right. It's scary.
Scary.
Um, even in some certain vision places, they just want you in and out, and it's the same way they treated me in this certain hospital. You know?
I'll tell you my dental story is the guy tried to get gold fillings. He had me prostrate on a chair in a completely passive position, looking over me, going, "I think we should put a gold filler cap on this." And I'm looking up at him and his boat in the Bay Area. I put two and two together. I was like, "No way!" It was such a scam, dude.
Yeah,
I had the best medical insurance through a corporate medical insurance. Like they were paying through the teeth for this thing. Then I went in and I asked them specifically, does my health insurance cover all this dental work? They said yes. So then when I was done, they tried to double charge me. So they took the money out of my insurance and said, well, you owe additional things. And I
yeah,
said, I never would have come in here. I never would have stepped in here if my insurance didn't cover all the stuff because I knew it was prime dental insurance.
Yeah.
And they were trying to scam me, and I never went back to that place. That guy was a shyster.
Yeah.
He was just a monster. It's rough out there, man.
Yeah.
Especially,
I tell you the truth. If I'm sick and I'm going to get checked anywhere, I go to like a functional medicine doctor that has the one I go to has a ton of degrees and everything. So I just go to a private doctor rather than a hospital every time. Every time I could be bleeding, I don't care, man. So, so here are the new. This is a couple months ago. VAERS numbers on COVID jabs. 22,607 deaths, 29,000 and over for myocarditis, 25,000 life-threatening events, 38,000 and over severe allergic reactions, 40,000 permanently disabled. Sorry. And so when it comes to the heart attack, up 269%.
it's crazy. So crazy.
Myocarditis up 285%. Pulmonary embolism up 467%. Cerebral infarction up 393%. Bell's palsy 319. Immunodeficiencies up 275%. And others. The list kind of goes on here. But as you see, these percentages are wild. Why are they still putting out this stuff? And that information was from VAERS and Dr. Vladimir Zelenko, if you know who that is.
I do. I followed him a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've listened to a lot of stuff. That's who actually told me to take the quercetin, which is in green tea.
Yeah.
So the quercetin lets the zinc into your cells. So
yeah,
that's where it was.
And there's so much more going on. I want to get into the tech before we finish.
Yeah, Chris, the ZAERS is underreported by 10 times, right? So it's probably 10 times that. And the people who are dead, they can't report. Somebody else has got to report. So if you're alone, if you're in an old folks home by yourself, you don't know, dude. It's a wasteland out there, man. There's so many people dying of this stuff, a variety of different things, and their lives are ruined. There was a massive payout for vaccine injured in Thailand. They set aside a ton of money for all the people who have been vaccine injured. But these stories don't, because of language and national boundaries. The global story is it's
a nightmare.
It's a nightmare, dude.
Look at what they did to Australia. That is the precursor for anybody who wants to see a template of what could have happened here, or what could still happen in Canada. Look at Australia. I mean, they have these COVID camps that look like resorts, but they're nothing but. I mean, nothing towards any sort of lifestyle that you want to live in there. You're just locked in. You can't go by the fence. You can't. It's a jail, right? And these people are suffering. I don't even know if any of them have come out, but some have tried to escape. Right?
Commit suicide. I think there's suicides there too. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, it's crazy. And so that's this totally totalitarian move to control the planet. You will own nothing and be happy. And when they say nothing, they literally mean nothing. Okay? Everything will belong to the state. So what we see going on is I think it's a proxy war. They're using communism as a proxy, but they want to bring in technocracy. That's their ultimate goal.
And I think that this great COVID deception can be seen in part as a technocratic overthrow towards neo-feudalism. Yes. Because all of these numbers and all of the propaganda from a variety of different sources is all being puppeteered by people associated with Schwab and the World Economic Forum. That's the globalization, and that's the lies. That's the confusion, that people can't get good facts from their governments who've betrayed them. And they are all Judases. I mean, the people like Walensky and Fauci are monsters, man.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, this information is so dark in a sense that the average person, even if they woke up, it would still take some time for them to be able to swallow this. They won't believe that people could be so evil because they don't understand sin, they don't understand history and what people have done. Why can't it happen in the modern time? We've had genocides in a modern time,
Right.
you know? So the fact that they're using technology, um, uh, biometrics, nanotechnology, developed by DARPA and MIT to usher in this weird human 2.0, which most people don't know about, but it's been talked about in all the magazines, including National Geographic. It's all is the template or the foundation is built on Darwinism, right? Once you get into Darwinism, which leads back to Satanism, you
The same
will
philosophy. It's the same philosophy.
same philosophy, because it's a survival of the fittest. Who are the weakest must go. The strongest survive. And if you get into the population of human 2.0, you're thinking, well, I have protection. I'm a part of this grand plan. But no, you'll be a slave. While the same elite people that got you into this mess use you and get more wealthy off of you. Now let me touch on the wealth a little bit here. You can search this out through Bill Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and others, not just them, but others. What they want to do, you keep hearing about this whole thing about the metaverse, right? And now we're being inundated with the multiverse, which comes from Buddhism. But anyway, I'm just putting little pieces together for you. These metaverse will mine your biology for cryptocurrencies and other things. You are the product, not the metaverse. So when you get into this virtual reality or take a gene therapy, the information coming out of your body will surprise you. It's just like how you have your cell phone, and this is always connecting to some server or whoever is the carrier under. Always, even if you turn it off, even if you take the battery out, right?
Wow.
So imagine that in your body. What kind of data is being sent to these people? And I can go on and on about that, right?
It should scare the living daylights out of people because we're there. It's
Yeah,
it's not a joke.
yeah. I mean, we have the hydrogel, which is nanotech. DARPA created it. Sends and receive data. The microneedle platform, which is easy to find. Just look it up. Easy to find. That's made by MIT. You have transfection, and that's how we make GMOs. So pretty much you're becoming a genetically modified organism, right? And we talked to a specialist in the Super Soldier documentary, the hybrid super soldiers in the coming genetic apocalypse. She said it takes 1% of change for you not to be a human. 1%. Now, most of us have been changed by GMO already, but what is this going to do to further that, right?
Right.
They will patent your genome. All of these DNA websites that you go to find your ancestry, they're, oh my gosh, they're not what you think, okay?
They're not. The back end says they can do whatever they want with your genetic information.
Yeah.
So you write that, you sign that contract. It's in small print, but yeah, 23. I didn't touch any of that either. Things are so dangerous right now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And you have
Imagine like they can tailor a genetic weapon for you once they have your genes.
Yeah.
Oh, he has the X343 22 chromosome.
Yeah.
We can have an exact gene weapon for that. That'll exploit this pre-existing condition. It's unbelievable what these people will walk in. There's so many people. I don't want to be mean, but a lot of people are sleepwalking, man. I got to tell you.
True. Listen, man. There's I wish I knew the Bible verse right now, but when you look at this Bible verse in the Greek, it's pretty much saying you're being dumb on purpose. You're hearing the truth and you don't want to accept it. You are being dumb on purpose. Jesus said that, or Paul, or God through Paul, whatever, right?
Willful stupidity.
Willful stupidity, absolutely. So then you have Luciferase, which is a bioluminescent enzyme that you will see if it's scanned by the right equipment. Okay, this stuff, that technology is not new. Luciferase, the name of the technology is not new either. We're just finding about it out about it now. So we have all these patents, all this technology. We're okay. The world is not changing; it has already changed. People have to realize that. And this whole deception is just phase one.
Right.
Right? So don't shut up. Don't let them censor you. Tell your family the truth. If they don't want to listen, it's okay. You don't have to talk to a wall. But at least you told them something. You told them something. This is reality now. The genetic arms race, the artificial intelligence arms race, the drone arms race, and the medical biological arms race. Okay, this is real, and the name out there in the tabloids, in the magazines, in your sci-fi shows, Human 2.0, also known as transhumanism, also known as the next human, the new human, the mutants, on and on it goes.
Right. The new man. Like that covers a lot of your research. So the drones, you've done your own section on drones.
Mhm.
Why the mutants is it's like not predictive program, it's a conditioning thing that
Mhm.
can be you, right? You could be the next X-Men.
Yeah.
I think that's what's scary. And that you want to go back to, I think we talked about that in one of our earlier talks, but the foundation of the X-Men wasn't a guy who was in the Magical Child in New York. He was an occultist hanging out with Peter Levenda.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
And you have to, the things that we're seeing now have been covered in many sci-fi novels. And the original sci-fi authors was a think tank. They were communists, not all, but some of them were, like the Time Machine author, H.G. Wells. He was a
H.G. Wells,
communist.
yeah.
So, what were they being told? Was it by a spirit? Was it by the elites, or both? These things don't. These people cannot predict the future. You can tell certain things that are going to happen based on human interaction and how we just our habits and whatnot. But technology like this, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, no, it's very strange. I had a conversation with the Collins brothers, and it was like the elites are contacting the entities, but what are
Mhm.
the entities contacting the elites with? Like that's the whole
Yeah.
question. Do you think that it's just a one-way street? I don't know. I don't know what happens in those
Well,
weird things.
you've dealt did your deep dive into the cult, and what are some of the patterns out of alternate sorry, it's not alternate states of reality, right? So they take these drugs and they contact something, right? And you don't have to take drugs. You could just be drunk. Alcohol is a drug, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Um, you could be dancing, just jerk your body, whip your body, cut yourself. All of these things put you in a altered state of consciousness, and something is always trying to contact you because they want to fool humanity to go towards Satan's insane plan. Hell wasn't made for you; it was made for them. But since we're born in sin, we go along with their plan unless you get rescued by Jesus Christ. That's just the bottom line there. So they're always waiting to contact somebody.
Right.
There was an explorer that went to South America, and this is a little weird story, so bear with me here. He was invited to, I believe he was invited to watch a ceremony with the shamans, and they lined these guys up, and the spirits manifested, but the spirits went around the guys and kind of like sniffed them out to see which body they want to enter, and then they go inside and go inside and go. That's what's going on that people don't see in a modern society.
Right. They don't even accept that as real. I mean, it's in the New Testament, but I've talked to Christians who say, "Oh, they're just manifesting some psychological trait, defect." I'm like, no, there's entities out there, man.
That's scientism talking right there, right? And that's the thing. These people are into scientism like Fauci is, and they're into certain things that you'll never see on national TV, right? And I can't prove what Fauci's into or not. I just know he's wicked.
Yeah, totally
when you
evil.
do your research on some of these authors that do automatic writing, ghost writing was a term from Aleister Crowley. They do automatic drawing, painting, and other automatic issues.
Barbara Marx Hubbard, for example, total automatic writer.
Yeah.
That's who Zelenko thinks is like the symbol of the new evil order is Barbara Marx Hubbard.
Well, she's at least one of them, right?
For sure.
Because you go back to the Romantics and other issues that came up in the 16, 17, 1800s, then that turned into Spiritism. You go into Carl Jung and the other psychologists that the top of the church, they were into Spiritism. Some of them were either insane or demon possessed, So it's not nothing far from the truth if you already know that, if you've already done the research. And so man isn't the one to necessarily be afraid of, in demonology, these things are called the enlightened ones, and they love to lead humanity where they want to go. And as you see, it's depopulation, it's all sorts of things that sound so altruistic, get rid of nuclear weapons, and the space brothers are going to come down, and all sorts of stuff we can go into, but
right. But they take us to a dark place, dark cultural societies, and great wickedness and greed and terrible stuff. I mean, I think the Nazis were involved in all kinds of weird spiritism and contacting entities and rituals, and that was just a disaster for humanity. So I feel like we're in a World War II situation now too.
Okay, good. Glad you brought that up. This is another side step from COVID, but back to Ukraine. Why is it that the Ukrainian flag has Nazi symbols? What has Putin been saying about Nazis over there?
They're actual real Nazis.
Yeah.
That's why he's saying it.
Yeah.
And interesting you mentioned genocide earlier. Sorry, but I meant to say I just had an interview with a guy from Rwanda who went through the 1994 genocide. So these things are, I mean, that's not that long ago, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But the Ukraine thing, there's a lot of spiritual things going on there too. Yeah, I think Putin's actually telling the truth. That doesn't mean I love Putin,
right?
But there probably is two sides to the story.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about because people think that you like Putin now just because you're saying that he told the truth, But we always have to preface it. It's like, oh my goodness. But I just think that that's also a part of the programming because. We had to deal with communism for so long, and then in the 70s, 80s, even 90s, we had to deal with the Cold War, and so Russia always bad, there are regular people in Russia,
Right. But they were our allies in World War II. It's the elites in the United States have used Russia as the bad guy, for their own advancement for like decades. So this is just another iteration. Remember, Trump was with Russia and the Russians were involved in the election. It's really them. So I mean, you want to talk about 2020, but I mean, it's all one of the great parts. This is a great deception, this COVID, but we're being deceived on a variety of other stuff through the media, and people need to really have discernment to be careful because it has a negative effect. These people who went in and got their shots thought they were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. It's madness. It's madness.
I say to people, stay on your game regarding information. Don't trust the mainstream media, not even 1%. You might find some truth there. Then you have some whistleblowers, but for the most part, don't trust it. We've already gave you Vanguard and BlackRock. Go search that out, you know. And there is a movement within our country, even inside of the COVID narrative, that's trying to bring forth a race war. Be careful. Stay on your game. And
Yeah, who benefits? It's the elites. All this stuff benefits the elites. The
yeah,
COVID does, war with Russia, race war, all that stuff. So you got to really stay discernment, stay with the Lord, stay with Christ, get
absolutely.
back to church. I know they want you out of church. There's a reason why they shut down the churches, but kept
Yeah.
the strip joints open and the food is they just want you to have bread and circuses. Yeah. Alcohol places are open. They don't want you to hear any truth or anybody say, have your lamp lit, you know, stay close to the truth. So,
yeah.
Anything you'd like to add before we wrap it up, Chris? And I mean, there was a bit of a wrap up, but tell people where they can see your stuff. I highly recommend people go check out Chris's research. Don't let them burn you.
Thank you. Don'tletthemburn.com is the website. But if you want to find my information outside of that, it's YouTube. And then I'm on Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, Locals, and a bunch of other places. Okay. I'm pretty much everywhere you should be able to find me. If you're on those platforms already, I'm on Truth Social, I'm on Getter, I'm still on Twitter, I'm still on Facebook, but I don't use those platforms that much. And
it's good to have backups and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the place to get the Great COVID Deception DVD is Get a Life Ministries, right? With
GetALifeMedia.com. GetALifeMedia.com. You'll find it right there. No need to search too much. It's right there.
And it's very. I mean, you have a ton of research. It's like 6 or 8 hours long, right? It has 5 updates.
That one's 5 hours. Yeah,
5 hours. Yeah. 5 hours. So it's a lot of stuff. Chris Taylor, Don't Let Them Burn. Thanks so much for your time. It's great to talk with you again. Thanks much.
You too, sir.
All right, cool. God bless. Stay there.